Recently, Timothy Cardinal Dolan was in St. Louis to preach at the first Mass of a newly ordained priest from his home parish. I had occasion to meet with him and talk about the mandate. This is what he said. Your Eminence, thank you for taking the time.
My honor, Fred. Thanks for asking me.
I appreciate it. What we would like to do, we're working to try to defeat the HHS mandate.
Glad you are.
And we're
nice to meet you. Me too.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that. And we're working on the legal side. But I was wondering, do you have any advice for the laity about what they should be doing to try to help defeat this?
Do I ever? Do I ever? Now, first of all, let's stay positive. So you bet there's a negative aspect to this to defeat this restrictive straitjacketing HHS mandate, no doubt about it. But the positive message, Fred, is what? The defense of religious freedom.
Yes.
That is not just a Catholic issue, not a Democrat or Republican issue, not a Christian issue, not a Jewish issue. It's an American issue, okay? Yes. America is looked to as the beacon of freedom, and the first of those is freedom of religion. And when that's threatened, as it is by these handcuffing restrictions, people stand up. All Americans stand up. You remember what Governor Huckabee said? Hey, when it comes to this, we're all Catholics, okay? That's
yes.
coming from a Baptist minister. Now,
yes.
Your specific question, what's the laity to do? Well, you got to remember this, Fred. Our enemies, and their name is Legion, all right, is trying to reduce this to bully bishops, all right, trying to impose their will upon the American people. Now, that's ludicrous.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
In fact, if anybody's imposing will, guess who it is? It's not us. It's HHS. What we have to do is have the lay people stand up and say, we're not against this because our bishops are whispering into our ear or are telling us. We don't need them to do that. We are committed, intelligent Catholic Americans who know that this is not only a threat to our religious liberty, it's a threat to the American genius. And we are standing up and saying, this can't stand, because this would be the beginning of the chiseling away of our most cherished freedom. So we need our Catholic people, we need our Christian people, we need our believing Jewish people, we need our neighbors, we need people of no faith at all to stand up and say, as loyal Americans, as thinking, reflective people who know that America represents one of the best chances that this world has ever had when it comes to freedom, this can't go. We can't allow this to happen. That's where we need our committed lay people.
So you need them to stand up and contact
Stand up, pray, we do that pretty well, okay? Never yes. underestimate the power of prayer, of fasting. We got our fortnight of freedom coming
yes.
up from the 2 weeks before the 4th of July. But let their representatives know, let the administration know, let the newspaper editors know, let the editorials when they write like all the press will, that, you know, this is an obnoxious attempt by these bullying medieval, patriarchal, oppressive, anti-women bishops. Stand up and say that's an insult to them and to us and to any thinking people, and we're not standing for it. This is a grassroots movement. This is a people's movement. You've been talking about the lawsuits. These lawsuits didn't come from the bishops. These were grassroots movements of people that run our soup kitchens, our daycare centers, our inner city schools, our healthcare apostolates saying, we're not going to take this. Can't we come together in some type of action against this oppression?
And I don't think most people really understand how this threatens almost every ministry because of the narrow definition.
It threatens every ministry because for the first time, you've got the government saying, we will define for you the extent, the parameters of ministers and ministries.
Yes.
And that we're saying, whoa, wait a minute, okay, that can't be, that can't be. I mean, even the president has said, even HHS has said, we know that religious freedom says that those who find this a violation of conscience, believers in a faith community called a church, should be exempt. Boy, if they had stopped there, they wouldn't have had any fight at all.
Right.
But what did they say? Oh, and by the way, we'll define what the church means. That's when we say, whoa, don't define for us ministry and ministers. Simply say that religion, people who have a conscientious objection, churches are exempt from this. That's the American tradition. That's the pedigree of religious freedom that we have. And instead, you've got them butting in and defining what it means to be a church ministry. If we listen to them, we're going to have to ask our people in a soup line to show us their baptismal certificate, or we can't give them a sandwich and a bowl of soup because they say our ministries can only serve the people of our own faith. That's just an example of how ludicrous this is.
And I don't even think Jesus would have qualified.
He wouldn't have qualified. Mother Teresa wouldn't have qualified.
Right.
Forget it. So keep with us. We need our lay people more than ever.
We will.
All right?
Thank you very much
Fred.
for your time. The way I see it, is that we are at spiritual warfare as well as political warfare. Our weapons on the spiritual front are prayer and fasting, as I mentioned. So if you have not already been doing so, I want to encourage you to pray and fast for the defeat of the mandate. On the political front, you need to contact your senators and congressmen. Tell them how upset you are over the mandate. Tell them that the Catholic Church, in fact, the members of many religious faiths, should not be compelled to take action against their moral consciences. Urge them to pass legislation that will repeal the provisions requiring employers to include contraceptives and sterilization services in their health plans. You can get their addresses over the internet by doing a simple search. If you know who your representatives and senators are, then you can just search their names. If you don't know, you can do a search regarding how to contact your senator and representative. There are directories available. In addition, I want to encourage you to contact and praise those senators and representatives who are courageously fighting the good fight in the face of this evil. Tell them how much you appreciate what they are doing. I've been told that they sometimes feel like they are just blowing in the wind. We need to let them know that we support them. Catholics in America have long enjoyed a time of peaceful coexistence with our fellow citizens. As a result, we have perhaps become a little lazy in our faith, a little complacent. It is not the time to be complacent. I'm reminded of the famous poem by Martin Niemöller. He was a Lutheran minister at the time of the rise of the Nazis. He at first supported the Nazis. As time passed on, he grew to see the evil that was descending upon them, and he openly resisted. He was eventually arrested and sent to Sachsenhausen and then to the Dachau concentration camps. Sometime after his release from Dachau, he composed this poem. First, they came for the communists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholics, and I didn't speak up because I was a Protestant. Then they came for me, and by that time, no one was left to speak up. It is time for us as Catholics to speak up. It is time for us to pray, to fast, and to contact our senators and congressmen, and to let them know how we object to this intrusion into our religious freedom by the Obama administration. Tell them that you want it to stop. Tell them now, or the time may come in the future when there will be no one left to tell. Thank you, and God bless.